How's it going, everyone? Got quite a bit to talk about in this video. We have a major free game period trial being fixed. A lot to talk about there. We'll talk about that. Speaking of free, major free DLC, free expansion, free right now. More on that at the end of this video. But first of all, if you guys weren't aware, back on, I believe it was a Thursday, Marvel's Midnight Suns had kicked off a free-to-play weekend period where the intention was you would be able to play the game for free, the entirety of the game free for the weekend, and everything would be great. And if you decide you like the game, you could ultimately buy it if you wanted to keep it after that. Remember, it would be the entirety of the game. Unfortunately, there were a lot of issues and people weren't actually able to access the game with that free period. So I decided not to cover it on this channel, just because nobody was able to get into it. However, the official Marvel's Midnight Suns Twitter account did tweet out the PS5 All Access trial should now be working for all players. We've extended the PS5 trial until Thursday, March 30th at 12 a.m. Pacific Time, 7 a.m. UTC. Thanks for your patience. So now you can get on the game and you can play it no problem. If you want to check out Marvel's Midnight Suns, it is a tactics-based game done by Firaxis. Firaxis is the same developer that brought you the XCOM titles. I haven't put as much time as I need to form a definitive opinion on the game. It has some interesting card game mechanics to it as well. This game just had the untimely release day of being released right on the same day as the Callisto Protocol and Need for Speed Unbound. More so the Callisto Protocol, that's the game that I was gravitated towards, and Crisis Core was coming out, so Marvel's Midnight Suns kind of had to get pushed to the back burner for me, and then I just never really got back to it. But you know, if you're a fan of these tactics-based titles, if you're a fan of Firaxis games, definitely something to check out. Try out the trial for yourself. And I say trial, and yes, it is a trial in the sense that it's a limited time amount that you can play the game, but it is all access. Like, you can play the entirety of the game, and if you're, for some reason, not doing anything today, tomorrow, and Wednesday, I mean, you can download it and you can play a significant amount of it and really, I want to say get your money's worth, but you're not paying anything, so all is good. Now, this is a game that does have a plethora of additional content. There's a Plus Edition, and then there is a Legendary Edition that includes a lot of additional bonus content, in-game content, things of that nature. The game itself is getting discounted. I think one of the problems, and ultimately this is going to be a problem you're going to see with a lot of games, is these more mid-level releases being priced at $70. Like, people, I'm sorry, are just going to be a little bit more picky and choosy when it comes to games that are priced at $70. At that day that Midnight Suns came out, Need for Speed Unbound came out, and the Callisto Protocol came out. All of those games were relatively mid-level releases. Like Need for Speed, long-running IP. However, a lot of recent entries left a lot to be desired. Callisto Protocol was a brand new IP, and it did have quite a bit of buzz, but I think the reception of the game ultimately hurt that game. And Marvel's Midnight Suns, yeah, it's done by Firaxis, yeah, it's got the Marvel label to it, but it's a different style of Marvel game that I don't know if your typical Marvel fan is going to be all over that. All three of those games were priced at $70, so, you know, that was a case where some people may have just skipped out on all three of those games just because you're looking at those price points and you're thinking, man, $70 for each of these games? Don't know if that's necessarily worth that high of a price point. In the case of Callisto Protocol, the last gen version obviously was $60, but it is something to monitor. I know some of you guys think I make too big of a deal about the $70 price tag, and yes, maybe to some of you guys that is the case, but for a lot of you guys, you have to understand that the fact that you have a lot of disposable income and you're okay with spending $70 on any game that comes out, not everybody is going to be okay with that, especially on a day where three of those games are coming out, and people are just going to be more picky and choosy. It's not necessarily that people are complaining about those price points, but at the end of the day, you're going to be a little bit more picky about which games are picking up, and I feel like Marvel's Midnight Suns was one of those games where a lot of people looked at it being like, okay, it looks like an interesting game. However, a billion other games just came out. Two other notable titles were releasing on the same day, and you could have just made the case, hey, I'll wait for this to go on a deeper discount. And boy, did it go on a deeper discount, because at this point, you can find it go on sale pretty regularly. Now, there has been a PlayStation Plus Premium trial that has been available, and now you do have this all-access trial. So if you wanted a taste of the game, you can do so right now. And as far as the game itself goes, again, it's done by Firaxis, so you know you're probably going to get something of quality here if you do like tactics-based games. But nonetheless, that's available now, and it will be available until Thursday. Go check it out on PS5. Alright, moving on from that, do want to quickly know, Final Fantasy XIV, if you do have the standard edition, I believe it's called the starter edition, that includes Final Fantasy XIV and Heaven's Ward, you can get Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood for free right now. It is available on the PlayStation Store. You can just add it to your library and it is yours to own. Now, you do have to have the starter edition. I don't believe this works if you just have played the game through the trial. The trial is one of the best trials that you can find in gaming in general because it gives you hundreds upon hundreds of hours of gameplay literally for free. You don't even have to pay monthly for that trial. And, you know, they call it a trial, but you get all of Final Fantasy XIV Realm Reborn, and you get all of Heaven's Ward, the first expansion. It's legitimately hundreds of hours of content and they just give it to you for free. Obviously, the whole idea is to get your foot in the door and then you'll try out, you know, the subsequent expansions, your Stormbloods, your Shadowbringers, your Endwalkers, and then hopefully they can sustain you for keeping a monthly subscription because this is a game that has a consistent stream of content coming out. And to a lot of people that, you know, are super well versed in a lot of the MMOs that come out, generally speaking, from what I hear, is this is everybody's favorite MMO these days, and this is the best received MMO ththese days. I'm not a big MMO guy these days, you know, I'm jumping around from game to game, so it's hard for me to really sit down and invest a ton of time into an MMO, but I did play quite a bit of FF14, and I enjoyed my time that I played it, and I've heard great things about the most recent expansion that did come out, Endwalker, and there's a reason why, even though it's a subscription-based MMO, there's a large player base attached to this game, and phenomenal soundtrack to this game as well. Like, it goes without saying, Square Enix JRPGs tend to have great soundtracks, but FF14 in general, fantastic soundtrack. Like, I didn't even play a lot of Endwalker, but like the Endwalker soundtrack that came out, oh my goodness, one of the best soundtracks that you can come across. By the way, FF14 does regularly go on sale, so if you do want to ultimately buy it, what I would recommend you to do is wait for the complete edition to go on sale. That typically goes for $59.99, but it's been on sale 50% off for $29.99, and that includes all the content, so you get FF14 Heaven's Ward, and then you'll get Stormblood, you'll get Shadowbringer, and you'll get Endwalker, and I believe for new customers, it's a 30-day subscription period that you get as well. What I would recommend, though, is like play through all of the content of Realm Reborn and Heaven's Ward before you buy it, because why would you want that 30-day timer to start ticking when you're playing the base game in Heaven's Ward when that content is already free? You don't want to start that 30-day ticker. That's my 2 cents on that, but if you already have the starter edition, you can get Stormblood for free right now. Go check it out. You know, it's a nice piece of expansion. Generally, I believe Shadowbringer and Endwalker are the two that most people gravitate towards as being the best expansions, and those are the two most recent expansions as well, and hopefully FF14 continues to escalate as an experience as a whole. But that's going to do it for me. Again, Marvel's Midnight Suns free period is available right now. Go check it out. You can play it absolutely for free. All access, the entirety of the game is available for you to download and play for free. Jump on the download as soon as possible, because if memory serves me correctly, I haven't downloaded on my PS5, but I'm fairly certain that the install is fairly large. I remember when I first installed the game, I was like, whoa, a large install. I want to say it's in the neighborhood of 70 gigabytes. So yeah, jump on that download as soon as possible. And then Final Fantasy XIV Stormblood is available free if you do have the starter edition of FF14. By the way, there is also a free login campaign right now, so you do have a period of time that you can play for free. So check that out as well. I'll leave a link to that in the description box as well. That's if you were formerly a subscriber and you want to jump into the game. That's going to do it for me. Sound off with all of your thoughts in the comment section down below. Thank you for watching, and goodbye. Hey guys, we hope you enjoyed the video, and if you did, make sure to hit the subscribe button, and if you're already subscribed, do us a favor and hit the bell icon. This way you'll be notified whenever we post a new video. That's the best way to keep up with all of our uploads, and we usually try to upload 2 videos a day. And with the bell icon hit, you'll be notified whenever we do upload a video. As always, thanks for watching.